I think ultimately Microsoft will have some tough choices to make very shortly in the future. And for me personally, I hope that they make the right choices because as a fan, you want them to kind of be around as long as possible. But you also realize that, gaming is changing, whatever the case may be. And, more people are playing games on like handhelds and stuff like that. I get that. I just think that, when you have a situation where hundreds of millions of people buy a console every generation, you can't just throw that away, even if much more are playing mobile stuff, because the mobile stuff isn't as, intricate. To me anyway, like I'm not a mobile gamer. I hate mobile games. I hate that whole idea of it. So it's a little bit of a strange situation. But the other thing that Microsoft is going to have to kind of get into real quick is what they want to do in the future, right? Are they dipping their toes in, going multi-plat, or are they going all in? Depending on how things work out with some of their games. Like, I personally feel like this is just the beginning, and they're going to do much more because they've already done 85% of their games that have been multi-plat this generation. So, when you have that kind of statistic, you see what you're dealing with. But with that being said, it was interesting because the former PlayStation boss, Sean Layden, was talking. He actually did a podcast, and I'm going to link this and you guys can check it out. And he had some very interesting things to say. So, former CEO of Sony Interactive Entertainment America and chairman of Worldwide Studios, Sean Layden, he really reiterated the importance of game exclusivity during a recent podcast appearance. Speaking in a What's Up PlayStation podcast, the former Sony executive spoke of the importance of first-party games and their function in the market. He said, and I quote, "Exclusivity will always be important. It helps focus and highlight the features of your platform. What can you do here technically that you can't do someplace else? But as your platform becomes established, as the market recognizes where you sit in the pantheon of gaming options, I think the necessity of exclusivity becomes a little bit less." Obviously, in a recent published interview with GamesBeat, the former PlayStation frontman described the ballooning budgets of first-party games as their Achilles heel. He said, and I quote, "When your costs for a game exceed $200 million, exclusivity is your Achilles heel. It reduces your addressable market, particularly when you're in a world of live service gaming or free-to-play. Another platform is just another way of opening the funnel, getting more people in." Elsewhere in the podcast, Layden also spoke to PlayStation exclusivity philosophy in its early years and how it focused on being an open platform for third parties differentiated it from Sega and Nintendo. And he said, and I quote, "PlayStation was never a first-party driven platform. You look at Nintendo and Sega in their 90s, their first-party output was the lion's share of the software market. You could publish on Nintendo 64, but the top 10 games were always going to be Nintendo games there. PlayStation always began with third-party focus of the platform business. First-party isn't there to steal market share from Electronic Arts or Square. First-party there is to grow the pie bigger." So again, he's really kind of reiterating, what kind of a lot of us have already kind of guessed and know. So at the end of the day, he's saying, that hey, exclusives are important because they really show off what you can do. And I agree with that 100%. Like, look at the solid state drive in the PS5. It's like a big selling point of the PlayStation. But at the same time, we're in a weird situation where if they were to say put games on an Xbox or a Nintendo platform, right, like people are suggesting, then they couldn't really take advantage of their solid state drive because those two things aren't available in Xbox or Nintendo. So, they're not really taking advantage of it. So those exclusives that they have are really showcasing and showing off what their hardware does. And Microsoft could do the same thing. I mean, they have things that, no other platform has. But at the same time, it's like, we're kind of looking at this from the outside and we're saying, okay, well, what can they do to really differentiate the platform? And I think that's where we're starting to see some of the differences come up. But I personally feel like I like what Sean Layden is saying. I like what he says a lot of the time. I'm not saying that he's 100% right 100% of the time. But what I am saying is that, you definitely do need exclusive content to really sell people on your platform at various times, and I feel like, Microsoft has not really done a good job of pushing that in the future. They've really kind of failed where that has kind of come to play. It's like people don't know what's going to be exclusive, and we don't even know, even to this day, what's going to happen with stuff like Blade. Like, is that a PlayStation exclusive? Maybe. Who knows? Right? We don't know. Is it even coming to Xbox? I don't think we know. Kind of what the future holds with that kind of stuff, but like I said, his idea on exclusivity is fine. I actually think it's very interesting when you see him talk about like the smaller games and stuff like that, which I'm perfectly fine with as well. Both Microsoft and Sony do this. Like, Sony's going to have this game, a Venom game. It's going to be a $50 game. It's probably going to be an 8-hour experience, and to me, that's fine, right? Like, if you look at it, if you want to take your family to the movies, you're spending triple that or whatever. So, for a 2-hour thing. So yeah, it is a very interesting situation where we're kind of looking at this and going, okay, well, what Microsoft is able to accomplish hasn't been nearly as good, and it's because they've been a little bit all over the place, in my opinion anyway. They've been sort of here, there, and everywhere where all this kind of stuff kind of comes into play. It's like people don't know what to really expect because Microsoft has been all over the place. It's like, hey, is this game going to be exclusive or whatever? They didn't do anything in 2022, and then the few things that they put out are all literally on PlayStation. So yeah, it's just kind of a weird situation all around. But I do hope that they can do something that is going to be attracting people to the platform in the future. Because I feel like you don't want to be in a situation where there's only one real console, and that would be PlayStation. Like, that would be the only high-end console, and I think that would be bad for everyone, right? Like, all the way around. I think that would be just bad. You don't want that to happen, because then and people go, oh, okay, well, Sony would be doing this or this or whatever. Like, they're not going to charge $1,000, but at the same time, I feel like you have to be able to be competitive. You have to have that thing to compete against, and I feel like that's what we'd be missing out on, right? So yeah, I hope that Microsoft can continue to compete, but again, how much can they compete if you don't have some exclusive games or many exclusive games? That's the part where he's like, that's how you grow your pie. That's right. Like, that's how you would grow Xbox, not third-party stuff. You would grow Xbox through the first-party stuff. People would be like, wow, man, I can't wait to get this game or that game, but just Microsoft just does not do that for whatever reason, and it's truly unfortunate, because I think that they do have some good games, but at the same time, we're living in this world where good games aren't enough. You need like great games, and people are like, they almost like they gave up after Starfield. Oh, well, Starfield didn't do much to move the needle, but you needed to keep doing. You needed a Starfield every 3 months for multiple years. Get people excited about the platform. Releasing Starfield and and then just kind of going, okay, well, time to put our games on PlayStation, didn't exactly do anything. So I don't know. What do you guys think, though? I appreciate any input. Thanks for watching. I'm Crap Gamer. This has been Crap Gamer Reviews. Rack 'em up. Crap Gamer out.